Hello there. I am Becky Amble, and I wanted to share something with you. A lot of times people want to know how they can use artificial intelligence. So that's my tip for today, because one of the things that we can do and often forget, me included, is to ask the artificial intelligence what it can do for us. I was recently in a program where I was speaking, and couple of the people in the audience were engineers. One happened to be a structural engineer, and she was not that interested in AI, and that's fine. I don't care if you are interested or not interested. And she just didn't see how any of the AI, especially the LLMs or the generative, would be of any use for her. And I'm not sure if they would or wouldn't, in particular in her job. And there are specialized LLMs or generative AIs that are more scientific and more adept at math and things like that. And I said, I don't know the world of structural engineering, and I don't know exactly what is available out there. I know there are some in the architectural world and in the design world and things like that. And I said there might be something that specializes and would have some resources for her in structural engineering. Well, another person there said, well, you can use it for other things like comparing or writing documents or writing chat or doing different things. And I said, yeah, you could compare a couple different documents. Maybe you could build a custom GPT and have it have all of your specs, or have something about rules and regulations and different codes that you need to comply with. So there's different things that can be done. Anyway, I wanted to show you something. So I'm going to get my screen sharing going here, and I want to talk to you about how to have AI tell you what it can do for you. Why not ask ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, or Claude what it can do for you, right? And what I did with this was, when I was getting ready for a meeting, I said, set this all up on four different LLMs, and that would be ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, and Gemini. And I used deep research. So I want to tell you about, well, maybe we'll do a different topic on that. Anyway, I wanted to just share with you what it came up with. And I blew up my screen because I know sometimes it's hard to see things. Anyway, this is what I got from ChatGPT, which I thought was kind of a cool one. It says, I'd love to tailor my help for your work. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for? And I thought, well, that was a great question. And here you can see the first question that ChatGPT came up with. It said, are you looking for help with code compliance, materials research, or new structural systems? Hey, sounds like a good question to me. Do you want updates on design software tools or other automation? And then the third question the ChatGPT had was, are you interested in industry trends, case studies, or regulations by region? I thought, those all sound like really legitimate questions that a structural engineer could then answer and get some other information and then decide, is it helpful? Does it look like it's accurate? And as I say to people pretty much all the time, is use AI for something that you already know something about, so you can do your own fact checking. In any event, we have to fact check no matter if we know anything about it or not. So I'm going to zip up here, and here is one that I got from Grok. And again, I have no idea if this is accurate or not. But what I found interesting, it says, well, it's not a replacement for specialized engineering software, and it names AutoCAD and other things. And I'm quite sure this particular engineer uses AutoCAD. So I thought, okay, it sounds like it knows what it's talking about. And it said it could help with things like research and standards looking up, going to find some of the regulations, material properties, innovation, structural analysis and concepts, or structural analysis concepts and case studies and precedents, and troubleshooting, peer insights. Sixth was sustainability and optimization, and seven, project management support. And I thought those all sound reasonable to me. And this particular person might have everything totally under control in these seven areas, or there might be something there where she would want to dig in a little bit and see what it had to say. And also, it can, here it gives you an example of what it can do with a lateral load resisting system and researching that. Now, quick, and I don't mean to totally confuse you or anything. I just want to give you a quick overview, because probably most of us watching this are not structural engineers. Here's what Gemini had to say. And it came up again. And again, I was using deep research. So the first thing it says, search for recent advancements in building materials and construction techniques relevant to structural engineering. And what you'll see is that the three of them that gave us some outlined material are fairly similar. Finding information on the latest updates and interpretations of building codes and standards applicable to structural design in Woodbury, Minnesota. So good old Gemini, because it is a Google product, knew where I was. And you may or may not like that. Research software and digital tools, it can do that. It can explore case studies. Again, we heard that with Grok. And it can look for resources for sustainable and resilient building design practices. And 6, I forgot to click that ahead. I did that and apparently it didn't get saved. I'm going to do that right now. So number 6 is investigate potential applications of AI and machine learning in structural engineering. And then find resources again. I guess it got a little bit goofed up here. Find information for other resources, webinars, conferences, and research best practices. Well, hey, those all sound like something that might be worth pursuing. And again, that's where when we don't know exactly how to use artificial intelligence, in particular, the LLMs or generative AIs, which of course is Claude, Chat, Gemini, Grok, as the most popular ones, you can go to it and tell it what your job is, what you're trying to accomplish, and ask it how it can help you. I mean, wouldn't that just be too simple? I sometimes miss the simple things. Anyway, Claude, it also comes back and says, as a structural engineer, I can help you with things, design calculations and analysis, documentation and communication. Again, for most of us, having some assistance on our communication with our team or our client can be a great resource. Research and problem solving, code and standard reference. Remember, we've heard this, I think, with all three other than Chat, GPT, programming and automation, and then some limitations. Again, I thought this was really great. And this is from Claude. And it says, I can't perform professional engineering types of things, and I don't have access to these softwares. And again, because of the cutoff date, even though I told this to use deep research, it should be current, but it says cutoff dates, it might not be current, and so on. I'm not going to read everything. I just wanted to show you how this can be used, any of the LLMs or generative AIs, which of course they get called different names these days. I'm trying to stop my share. And if you are really struggling with, well, how can you help me? Go ask it. And the other thing is you can take your cell phone, and in particular with ChatGPT, if you've got the app on that, you can pull it up and you can do your voice activation and start talking to it and brainstorm with it right there, or just ask questions about what it can do to help you. So check that out. See if that gives you a little bit of another way to take a look at artificial intelligence. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.